Let's continue. In chapter 37, Sancho becomes the site of allegorical connections between the adventures of the Sierra Morena lovers and the fantastical backstory of Micomicon. The narrator tells us that the squire listened to everything with no small amount of pain in his soul, observing that the beautiful Princess Micomicona had turned into Dorotea and the giant into Don Fernando. At the same time, Fernando indicates the connection between all of these stories and the theme of the labyrinth. He gave thanks to heaven for the blessings he had received and for having helped him to escape that intricate labyrinth where he had been at such great risk of losing both his public standing and his soul. And here, Cervantes inserts yet another of his many nods to bourgeois values. The one who celebrated the most was the innkeeper's wife, owing to the promise the priest and Cardenio made to her to pay her for all damages and costs she had incurred on account of Don Quixote. The phrase "to pay damages and costs" is contractual language derived from the famous Lex Mercatoria, the international commercial code of medieval Europe. While the others celebrate peace and love, Sancho informs his master that the Micomicon fantasy has collapsed. I want your grace to know that the dead giant is an honest wineskin, and his blood 6 draughts of red wine. The queen has turned into a particular lady named Dorotea. Sancho has even recognized the innkeeper as one of those who participated in his blanketing with much laughter as well as effort. Finally, there's no enchantment whatsoever, but rather much thrashing and much misfortune. Don Quixote wants to verify his squire's report. "Hand me my clothes and I'll be right out, for I want to know more about these events and transformations of which you speak." Meanwhile, the priest tells the newcomers about Don Quixote's condition and the adventures of the knight and his squire. They all decide to continue with the Micomicon plot. Don Quixote appears armed with all his gear, Mambrino's helmet, although dented, on his head, and a buckler together with his tree branch or lance. Wait a minute, what happened to the sword he had before? As always, Don Quixote's face is long, dry, and pallid, and the contrast between his weapons and his confident air surprises everyone. Don Quixote interrogates Dorotea about her rumored transformation into a particular maiden, and he attributes this to a certain reluctance on the part of her father, the king necromancer, owing to his doubts about our knight's abilities. Don Quixote concludes that the princess should ignore her father, for if, for the reasons I have mentioned, your father has brought about this metamorphosis in your person, you should pay no attention to him, because there's no danger on earth that my sword will not part. When Princess Micomicona insists that she has not been transformed, "I am the same today as I was yesterday," Don Quixote again becomes irate with his squire. "I am of half a mind to wreak such havoc on you that it will serve as a warning to all the lying squires of all the knights errant henceforth in the world." There is now debate about what has happened. Sancho admits he may have been wrong regarding the mutation of my lady, the Princess Micomicona, but he still insists that Don Quixote mistook the giant's head for some wineskins. Don Quixote calls Sancho a fool, but Fernando concludes the quarrel by saying that much remains to be done. At this key moment, a traveler arrives at the inn, who appeared to be a Christian recently arrived from Moorish lands. This follows from his Moorish dress, a blue woolen tunic and linen breeches, also blue, with a cap of the same color. He also wears date-colored boots above the ankle and a Moorish cutlass hanging from a strap across his chest. Given the problems with Don Quixote's swords and the scimitar brandished by his giant enemy, this last detail of the traveler's Moorish curved sword is surely symbolic. Even more suggestive is the description of his companion. Behind him, atop a donkey, came a woman dressed in Morisca fashion, her face covered. Here is a modernized version of the story of Mary and Joseph arriving at the inn prior to the birth of Christ. The difference lies in the story's racial touches. The traveler, though well-born in his person and a man of quality, also has a somewhat dark face, and the woman, according to her dress, appears to be a Moor. But the religious story to which Cervantes clearly alludes, "There's no room at the inn," suggests that appearances are likely deceiving.